All right, we are live talking about the Legion 5i giveaway. Super excited to be announcing this giveaway today on the channel. Lots been going on lately, just getting things moving. Thank you guys for your patience as we have been bringing this to you. So first and foremost, what are we giving away as we're letting people join into the stream here, be engaging in live chat. Thank you so much for jumping on. We got Debarga, if I'm saying that correctly, Joshua, Dark Fury, a lot of people coming onto the live stream. Thank you so much for being here. Again, we're talking about the Lenovo Legion 5i giveaway. So let's see what we got going on here. Let's talk a little bit about this computer before we move into the giveaway section. This computer scored really well on a lot of the benchmarks. As you see here on some of the test charts, had a pretty solid middle of the road Cinebench R20. Really good single core with that i7-10750H. So really excited about this laptop. And not to be Johnny Raincloud, but if you are not the winner who is picked, it is a great buy for the price point. So it's really exciting to see what this laptop is capable of. Got a good multi-core score in the Geekbench. Great 3D modeling scores in Autodesk Maya, PTC Creo, as well as SolidWorks. So really stoked about this laptop. And then of course, if you're going to be using After Effects, it's on the lower end of my test charts, but it's still almost in the 700 range, which makes for a great After Effects laptop. So really excited about this laptop. Pull up a little bit of this B-roll footage here. There we go as we roll through that. So tell me, what do you guys plan on using this laptop for? What is your use case? I'm really curious what you guys plan on using this laptop for. A lot of great use cases regarding video editing, graphic design, photography, but then also being able to use it for some gaming and things along those lines. Let's see what we got going on. And do you have any questions before we announce the winner? Do you guys have any questions about this laptop that I can answer while we're live on air? I'd love to answer those questions for you. Anything that I have test-wise, I'd love to show you that. Let's see, we got some AutoCAD usage, University, let's see, motion design, awesome, really great use cases, video editing and gaming, that's fantastic as well. So a lot of great use cases, 3D designing from Hassan, that's really rad as well. Super cool. Is it AMD or Intel? So this laptop is the 5i. So that is the Intel version. So if it's just the standard Lenovo Legion 5, that would be the AMD version. So that question came in from Salih. So thank you so much. Graphic design, great use cases. Jazim and Nick, super awesome. Very good as well. And let me switch back on over to my other feed here. As you can see, the color gamut range is great on this laptop as well. This is the laptop with 144 hertz. The 120 hertz laptop version of the Lenovo Legion 5 does not have as good a color accuracy, but this is the version with 144 hertz, which gives you that 99% sRGB color accuracy. So really good here. All right, so now let's make this official. We're only a few minutes in, but I don't want to drag it out too long. The winner of the Lenovo Legion 5i, which was selected through the software, so know that this was an anonymous drawing, an anonymous submission process, and I thank you guys so much for participating. Really cool to see how many people turned out and entered into the drawing. But the winner for this laptop is Jesse Brady. He is a digital artist and he also is into 3D modeling. So super excited. I was checking out some of his work. He does a lot of really cool stuff. He started off as a digital artist from what I gathered from his work, and then over time seems to have moved into 3D modeling, which honestly, I see a lot of that happening as people get started in the industry. Things shift and change over time, and they end up, changing niches. So I started as a graphic designer, but over time I moved into video editing. I moved into some different motion design for, doing social media design and different After Effects and stuff like that. So it was, it's an evolution, it's a process. As a designer, I don't think you're ever actually finished with, having your skill set in mind. I think because of the industry, things are always changing and shifting. And so a lot of times when people think about getting a laptop, think about the future-proof aspects of that laptop. You don't want to just get a laptop that's good for today and what you're doing, because you never know, as you get new clients, as you grow your skill set, that you may need more power for a more robust skill set. I know that clients have, called on me for doing some graphic design work, but then they say, hey, is it possible for you to do some 3D, not 3D modeling, some motion design for us? So that'd be something like I was designing some Instagram ads, and then I rolled into doing some more motion-oriented ads for them. So just keep that in mind as you're picking up a laptop. It's often good to think kind of of the future-proof value. If you're looking to spend, maybe $900 to $1,200, could you find something maybe for $1,400 to $1,500, or something even in that lower range that would future-proof you into the future? Yeah, future-proof you into the future. And so I'm very excited. See, if we have any other questions about laptops in general for video editing, graphic design, 3D modeling, motion design, whatever that might be, I'm more than happy to answer some of those while we're live streaming. I don't do a lot of live streams. If you guys want me to do more live streams, let me know in the comments, and let me know what kind of live streams you would like to really participate in, because it just gives us the opportunity to talk and get some of your questions answered off the cuff. And it's always a very fun thing for me to do. Do cores really matter for 3D work? So cores would be helpful if the program relies on multi-core functionality. So mainly you'll see that cores do not affect the program as much. You're going to see more power out of something like an Intel processor as far as 3D modeling is concerned. Let me see if I have my latest benchmarks here. I can pull this up for you. Okay, here we go. All right, so let me pull this up. Great question. So right here you see that the Gigabyte Aero 17 HDR, this is a processor with 8 cores and 16 threads, if I'm not mistaken. And it is topping the charts, not just because it's more cores and threads, but it has a higher clock speed. So it gives it the ability to do much faster in Autodesk Maya than compared to something like the Asus Zephyrus G14, which has the exact same cores and threads. But this processor, this is the i7-10875H from Intel. This processor is going to be really the winner because it's able to do, it gives you more single core performance. All right, I hope that explained well enough. So looking at 3D modeling, that is going to be something that you can see Intel currently having some better performance over Ryzen. Now, Ryzen 5000 series has just come out, so when we get those benchmarks, we'll see how much their single core performance has improved. But currently, that's what we're seeing right now. Thank you. i7-10875 versus Ryzen 7 4800H is a question that just came in. Again, use case is going to be a big deal. So if you are somebody who's going to be working in a lot of multi-core situations, what I mean by that is you're going to be, doing, you're going to be running some Google Chrome tabs. You're going to be doing a little bit of designing. You might be live streaming at the same time. If you're gaming, and then maybe all of a sudden you're like over editing a thumbnail. That's where multi-core performance is really going to benefit you. And those two, the i7-10875 versus the Ryzen 7 4800H, I've run some full video comparisons on 2 laptops with different processors. And so if you want to check out that full video on the channel, that'll give you a better perspective. But in single core performance, the i7-10875 is going to be better. But then with like multi-core performance, even though they both have the same amount of cores, we're still seeing better performance out of the Ryzen. Let me see if I can find a few more questions in here. Autodesk, should I wait for OEMs? 17-inch laptop fused between Asus TUF 17, both the same price. i7 versus Ryzen, looking for video editing and 3D animation and 3D modeling. Okay, so we have a question here about the Legion 5i versus the Asus TUF 17-inch. Basically, he's looking at Ryzen versus Intel. So just off of from a general standpoint, that Intel processor inside of the Legion 5i is going to run a little bit cooler. It's going to have better single core performance. So if you're somebody who wants a cooler running laptop and better single core, I would lean towards the Legion 5i. But if you don't mind the heat as much and you want a little bit better multi-core performance, then I would go for the Asus TUF. That'd be just my personal opinion. Jet, how important is the GPU in video editing? It seems that many of your benchmarks show the CPU is pegged at 100% for both Premiere Pro and DaVinci Resolve. So what I'm seeing there is the free version. You make a great observation on that, Jet. So with the free version, it doesn't use the GPU as much. That's a benefit that you step into when you do the paid version. I should purchase the paid version at some point. It just hasn't been in my budget, my business budget. But yeah, so what you're seeing there is you're seeing the CPU take a lot of that load because it's not allowing the GPU to take as much in DaVinci Resolve free. Now, for Premiere Pro, I don't know which benchmarks you're referring to specifically because, for instance, let's jump through here. Let's check out the component usage on, okay, here we go. Legion 5i, all right, Legion 5i component usage for Premiere Pro. All right, so as you see, this is 35% CPU, 52% GPU, and then about 69% on the RAM. So for most programs, these are the type of things I'm seeing inside of Premiere Pro. And then because I'm using the free version of DaVinci Resolve, you're seeing these higher CPU usages, and you're seeing lower GPU usage because the free version of Resolve does not allow it to step into that as much. I hope that answers your question, Jet. Some will see higher CPU usage. If it's a lower, less cores, lower clock speed, you're going to see higher CPU usage. But on these more high-end laptops, like, let's jump back here, like here we go. Some of these higher-end laptops, like the Asus ROG Strix G17, MSI Prestige 15, Asus ZenBook Duo, Acer Predator Helios 300, all these with like 6 cores, 12 threads, 8 cores, 16 threads, you're going to see really great performance without getting too much component usage out of the CPU. So I hope that answers your question. I'll take a couple more questions here. Sorry, they're going by so fast, so I'm trying to catch them all here. Which should you use for graphic design, MacBook Pro or Legion 5i? Personally, I would choose the MacBook Pro if I was just doing graphic design. I think the user experience for design is really nice. Though it is double the price and you really are not going to get as good of gaming performance. So personally, I would buy a MacBook Pro if I had the money. If I didn't have the money, then I would lean towards the Legion 5i because it's a solid alternative, especially if you get the 144 hertz screen variant. That'll give you 99% sRGB. So that's great as well. What color accurate display would you recommend to besides the Legion 5i? So I think you're referring to if I'm going to do like a secondary monitor, I would get the Acer Concept D CM2. I think it's about a $300 monitor, or the Asus ProArt 24. That's another one. Those are both 100% sRGB. But then the Acer Concept D CM2 is 96% DCI-P3 and 100% Adobe RGB. So that's pretty solid as well. Let's see. Anything else here? What do you think? The M1 chip on the MacBook Pro. I've not studied the new Apple silicone yet. It's something I'm going to get into more as it gets closer. I'm still anticipating like that being a while till that hits the MacBook Pro, unless there's been like new rumors that I have not been aware of. So I'm going to wait on that. Shall we buy it or the Gigabyte Aero 15? Okay, that's a laptop that not enough people talk about. I love the Gigabyte Aero 15 and the 17. Not enough people talk about that. It's 100% sRGB, 100% Adobe RGB, and it's all at a it's all at a Delta E of less than 0.48 for the 17-inch. It's absolutely incredible. I highly recommend the Gigabyte Aero 15 or the 17. Last I checked, it was on sale for like $1,300. It's got the performance of a MacBook Pro or better. It's great for video editing. It's going to be awesome for gaming. It's color accurate. Now, it's not, that sleek, low profile of a MacBook Pro, but it's killer. It's a great buy. So, yeah, definitely a thumbs up for that one. Is Intel Iris or Ultra HD okay for basic video editing? Okay, so yes and no. And the reason I say this is if you're somebody who's like serious about video editing, I do not recommend getting a laptop with integrated graphics. It's just not as it's not going to be as good of an experience editing. You're going to have drop frames. It's going to be a really like like stuttery editing experience. However, with that in mind, I mean, you can still edit like 1080p. I think about something, I'm trying to think, like the i7 or the i5 1052201. Oh gosh, my processors are escaping me at the moment. That has Intel Ultra HD, and so it's gonna work for 1080p, but definitely not 4K. But the thing is, there's laptops around that same price point that come with dedicated GPUs. Something like the Acer Nitro 5 you can get for around $700. I think it's like $780, and it comes with a dedicated GPU. It can come with like a Ryzen 5 4600H. So that's a great buy, and it's under $1,000. So I wouldn't recommend it just because you're going to get a better experience having a dedicated GPU. However, if you do want that, I would pick like a Ryzen 7 4700U. I'd pick that specifically, like that would be my pick. Like the Acer Swift 3 is a great laptop. The Acer Spin 5 has the i7 1065G7, if I'm not mistaken. Those are two great laptops that have integrated graphics and can handle 1080p video editing pretty well. Should I buy i5 10th gen or i7 8th gen? Totally depends. Okay, so this is a question I get a lot. People will say, should I buy this processor or this processor? So when it comes to i5 versus i7, 10th gen versus 8th gen, that's too generic. You have to look at the actual SKU. So if you could drop another comment in there, I think your name is Amen. If you could drop another comment and tell me the exact SKU of each of those processors, you'll have a far better understanding of which one you should choose. So if I'm comparing an i7, let's see, you said 8th gen, so an i7 8750 versus an i5, 10510U, for instance, I'd go with the i7 H series because it's going to have more processing power, and it's also most likely going to come with a dedicated GPU. So it's like comparing apples to oranges. You want to get a more orange to orange comparison there. So I'll wait to see if you drop that comment in again. Excuse me, and I'd love to answer that and make a recommendation. Okay, let's see what we got here. Thank you. Display. The display in the Asus TUF A15 is mentioned as IPS level. What exactly is that? I'm not sure what you're referring to. Like when you say IPS level, are you curious about like the color accuracy? Because the Asus TUF A15 has a trash screen. So if anybody's ever seen Toy Story, Forky, it's a terrible screen. It's not like gonna like explode when you use it. It's just the color gamut range is not good. It's like 46% Adobe RGB and 64% sRGB. So just no. I wouldn't get it if you're serious about video editing and graphic design and photo editing and you want premium color accuracy. I would not get that laptop if you're going to be an on-the-go user with primarily that laptop. If you have an external monitor that's like the Concept D CM2 from Acer, sure, like you can hook that monitor in, then you got your color accuracy, but if you're only using that laptop, it's not going to serve you well. Let's see what else. See if we can get any more questions here. What's your opinion on the Asus TUF A15 Ryzen 9 with 1660 Ti for 3D modeling gaming? So for 3D modeling, it's good. It's not great. I can show you here in some benchmarks for the Legion 5i. Okay, so here's the Legion 5i. This has that same GPU, and as you see, it kind of sits around the middle of the charts. It's not wonderful. It's not like the worst. It's right in the middle. So it's good for 3D modeling, and that Ryzen 9 will help it in some ways. So good question. Good question indeed. Trying to see if we got a few more. I'm going to try and answer like one or two more questions here. Okay, this is a good question. So the MSI Modern 15, 16 gigs of RAM, is it suitable for work in web design? Absolutely. So any of like the Modern 15s with 16 gigs of RAM, they'll pretty much have integrated graphics. Those are great for graphic designers. Those are great for web design. Where you're going to not see as good a performance is like 3D modeling, video editing, things along those lines. Those that take more high-intensive GPU-oriented tasks. Do brands send me laptops to review, or it's in your budget only, and it's your budget. What do you do with them? Okay, so yeah, I do not purchase. I've purchased and then returned like one laptop in my entire channel, and that was, you know, something I did at the beginning because I wanted to personally test it. I was considering buying the new MacBook Pro. I bought it, I tested it. It wasn't a value to me, so I ended up returning that. I still think it's a great laptop. I'd recommend it, but it just wasn't in my budget at the time to justify that purchase. So I purchased that one and returned it. Otherwise, all the laptops I review are either borrowed from people that I know who have them, or a brand will send me one on like a short lease, and then I have to mail them back. So I do not get to keep any of the laptops I review. That's a great question. They're sent to me from brands. I review them and then I return them shortly thereafter. But then something like this, the Legion 5i, Lenovo reached out to me and they said, hey, we want to do a giveaway through your channel. I realize my face isn't on it. Okay. We want to do a giveaway through your channel. And so can you please, you know, review this and then do a giveaway? And that's how that works. So that is that. All right, you guys are awesome. I'm sorry I can't get to all your questions. Comment below this video and let me know what you want me to do a live stream about after the video is posted. Then we can maybe come on next Friday or at some point and do a live stream. And actually next week, Friday around 6 a.m., Tech Notice and myself are going to do a live stream together. And so that'll be a lot of fun. We're going to be talking about the new Ryzen 5000 series. It's gonna be a ton of fun. We're gonna come on there. He's a tech YouTuber from the UK, focuses a lot on PC builds, and then I focus a lot on laptop design. So we're gonna have a good time. We're gonna be live streaming for probably about, I would say about an hour, maybe 30 minutes or so. We'll answer your questions, just enjoy chatting together, and so super stoked about that. You guys are awesome. Thank you so much for coming on today, and keep editing, keep designing, keep creating, and I'll see you guys in the next one. For those of you who missed the announcement, Jesse Brady is the winner. Congratulations, Jesse. Digital artist and 3D modeling. Super fun, super rad. So the giveaway is officially closed, but perhaps in the future we'll be doing another one, so keep an eye on the channel. You guys are awesome. Thanks for being a part of the community. I'll see y'all next time. Bye now.